Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, doggies and kitties everywhere. Thank you for coming to my channel to hear the weather. I sure do appreciate you. All right, so we've got a little cold coming. Let's talk about that today. And I'll also toss out my 7-day forecast to give you an idea of what's coming up over the next week or so. All right, let's get right into it, folks. Thank you again for stopping by. Don't forget after the video to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. I sure do appreciate you doing that. It does help out the channel a lot. It gets it out there and lets people know that, oh, hey, this person might be doing something good. Thanks again. Here we go. So, some very cold temperatures are possible. But let's talk about the here and now, right now. And I know my background's a little bit busy. Sorry about that. I'll work on that for the next one. So, for Monday, tomorrow, some very light, patchy, freezing drizzle, or maybe even a few snow showers are possible. Even a little bit of patchy fog at some point during the day. By mid afternoon, the winds will pick up, fog will go away, snow showers will go away, and the clouds will begin to clear. So even a little bit of sunshine is possible. However, the temperatures from what they are in the morning will drop throughout the day. After they hit a certain point around 30, 32 degrees or so, then they will start to drop from there. And as soon as the sky's clear, that's when they're going to start to drop because that means the cold front has moved its way through. Should expect it to fall to around 25 to 27 degrees by around 5 p.m. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy with a low around 12. Chilly, but nothing unheard of. So, okay, what's all this cold they're talking about then? So, we're hearing all this stuff and people are throwing out these models runs and all that stuff on Facebook. And I'm not talking about our local meteorologist. I'm talking about other people, other individuals out there. And they're throwing out these things and they really don't understand, I don't think, most of them, what they're looking at. So the cold is coming. We have it at least in two waves. Okay. We've got the wave this week and then possibly another one next week. And yeah, I know a couple of local meteorologists said that next week is going to be horrible. It's going to be really, really cold. Well, I'm not saying that yet. Okay. I don't, it's always a week out. It's always that. So let's just look at what's here now and talk about it. So it's cold, but it's really not anything we haven't seen. In fact, last year in January, and you remember how warm last year was. Last year, we had at least one day with a -5 for a low, and I think it was 12 for a high. So it's nothing unheard of. It's not impossible. It's just a little unusual to be this cold for this long. Normally, January has a week or two here and a week or two there, and then it's usually thawed out and warmed up by then. So this is actually remnant of what I grew up with around in the 1970s. This is the typical January pattern that we would have experienced back then. And interestingly enough, I've done just a tiny bit of digging, and from what I can tell, the United States is about the only place in the world that's got maybe there's one more I think might have been Norway that's really very cold. Most of the rest of the world isn't. So we've got some cold air circling over us. And I hate to use the term, but yeah, polar vortex. It's part of the polar vortex that's broken off. But it's okay. We'll get through it. It's not that cold. We've seen worse. So what's throwing us off is I think we've had so many days that have been below freezing that we actually make it feel like makes it feel worse because we've been below freezing for so long. And now today was a nice break. This was nice. I mean, we had 44 degrees, I think it was here. So that was great. A lot of melting happened. I'm all for a little bit of this melting going on to get rid of the ice that's underneath everything. Now, as far as what's coming, let's look at the next slide here. So, all right, great and mighty wizard, what does the models really say? So, out of the 9 models that I have a reading for this particular week, I picked the coldest day on them, the coldest night on them, and here's what I've got. 5 of the models, 5 of the models say we're going to have a temperature around 13 to 24 degrees for the low. Okay, so I know that's still cold for this time of year, but it's not unheard of. 4 of the models say 0 to 9 degrees for the low. So there we go. We've got 5 that say 13 to 24, 4 that say 0 to 9. I did have one model that showed a negative, -1, I think, was the low point. But I mean, the rest of it on the rest of it was. Oh, in fact, this is it. I forgot. I pulled it out right here. Right here's the -1. It's the only one that was showing that anywhere here in Kentucky. Every other model had us, in that 2, 3, 0, 5, 6 range. All the other 4. And then of the 5 models, 13 to 24. So if I look at this and I take an average of all these models, that would put our temperatures somewhere in the 8 to 10 degree range. So it's not terrible. Could we get colder than that? Yes. We have snow on the ground. That's called the snowpack. If it clears, which it's going to, that will give us a better chance to get colder air over us. Once the clouds move away, that blanket of cloud cover is gone. So any heat that we've built up during the day disappears at night. And we could seriously cool down to 0 degrees. That is possible. I'm not saying it's not possible. In fact, we might even have some negatives floating around out there. But it's not impossible, or it's not something that we haven't already seen. Okay? So, yeah, it's cold. Make sure you bring in your pets if they're outside. Please. They can't handle this kind of cold, especially dogs. Cats are a little different, but even cats need a good warm place to go. All right. So let's look at the next slide here. This is my 7-day forecast. And I will kind of hide myself over here. In fact, I'll make myself disappear. So what we got here for Tuesday, a snow shower, possible by the evening. Not a huge deal altogether. Probably a coating to an inch. Wednesday, maybe early morning, a few flakes left over, but otherwise just cold. And you see the temperatures I've got there. 6 degrees on Tuesday, 10 degrees Wednesday. Feasibly, if there isn't any clouds Wednesday night, that 10 could be down to the 5 or 4 or something like that range. Possible. But then we start warming back up. Thursday, a bit warmer. Friday, even warmer. But when it warms, it storms. So we got some rain coming in. In fact, chances are by midday on Friday, we'll see rain falling from the sky. And then that rain will lead us all the way in through most of Saturday. Saturday night, a front will push its way through and the rain will change to snow. How much will stick on the ground? I have no idea at this point. It's too far out to tell. Snow showers around for next Sunday. How much? I don't know. I can't tell. Too far out. Those snow showers eventually taper off into Monday. Then it leaves us with the cold. Now, this is the next wave of cold coming. Too far out for me to really give a good idea about it yet. Okay? That's it. That is my 7-day forecast. I'll even leave it up here for another few seconds if you wanted to take a picture of it or whatever. Yeah, you're going to notice my numbers look different than other people's. I look at it a little differently than most others do. That's me. I may be wrong most of the time, but I try. Okay, final slide. So, thank you all for stopping by. Thank you all for listening to me. I sure do appreciate you. Remember, you can hear me on WSKV 104.9 FM every weekday, given the weather forecast, and you can see an article and or a forecast in the Patriot every week. I do appreciate you, and I would ask that you please like and subscribe my videos. All righty. That's all I've got for you, folks. Always remember, Jesus loves you, and so do I.